some stalks now up in the air. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm out looking at the ragwort. It's a monster year for the ragwort. This wonderful plant has brightened up nep, and you've got the fleabane coming on just underneath it. That will be coming into flower quite soon, and that'll be yellow as well. Here's a bit of pig rootling with some young common ragwort coming up with a bit of fleabane as well. It's a biannual, so it'll come up and those plants will flower next year. 2 years ago we didn't have a stem of common ragwort, and this year it's been huge. One interesting thing is that the cinnabar moth, the main thing that predates on this plant or eats it, is not doing very well this year, so it's out of step, I guess because there was no ragwort last year, or very little in our landscape. Of course it is poisonous if eaten by herbivores. If you get ragwort in a hay crop or a silage field and it's cut and then is part of the fodder that then gets fed, it can be a problem because the cattle and the horses or whatever you're feeding can't detect the plant and can't detect the toxins. But when it's standing in a field in nep, for instance, none of these animals touch it. It's not called mare's fart or stinking willy for nothing. It's very pungent, the smell. So where we want to avoid, or what we want to avoid, is the plant being eaten in hay crops or silage crops. And every farmer knows that, and so avoids that like anything. You see it quite often in horse paddocks where you've got overgrazed horsey culture, and then it can be a problem as well, being eaten by the horses in desperation. Another really cunning thing the plant does is if you try to control it by cutting it before it's actually seeded, then it will just grow up again from the base in the rosette stage. So you've got to basically leave it to flower, to then seed, and then just before the seed starts to be pulled off and plucked off by the wind, then you can collect and cart it and then get rid of it. But so many of these insects are loving this plant. In a very dry summer that we're having now, we've had no rain probably for 15 weeks, proper rain anyway. You can see there's no grass at all and very little other flowering plants. There's going to be some fleabane coming up, but basically this is the only flowering plant in this grassland at the moment, and that means that there's a bit of nectar and a bit of pollen for the insects. The plant loves disturbance, so the pigs rootling and the cattle and the horses treading the dirt up will create enough of incentive for the plant to then get hold. You can see here another little pig rootling, and you can see next year's flowering plants. This year just a little rosette in this biannual. Lovely hearing the turtle doves. I don't know if you can hear it on this, but there's a dead tree just over there and there's a turtle dove turring away. There are 30 dependent species of insect on this plant and about 120 different insects that use it frequently. So it's a really important plant. Here's the cinnabar moth caterpillar. It can strip the plant completely. We've seen huge numbers in the past, but this year there's very few.